Hey everybody, Shaman Hawk here. Things are getting kind of crazy these days, huh? This video is mainly for my prepper friends, okay? Even the ones that I haven't met personally, but we all share the same mentality. You know, as we get ready for different types of scenarios, one of the things that we think about is how will we help other people? Something that I want to offer to people to think about as well is the types of mentalities that you can encounter in that preparation, for the as you're going through, like, what would I do if, and what would if I see this if, and so on. We have different types of people that will want to help, won't want to admit they don't know what to do, and so on. Some people, the great ones, are like, I don't know what's going on, don't know what to do. Teach me, show me, I can learn, awesome, love these people. They come in there with a blank slate, and you can properly construct someone that's going to help themselves in accordance. Also, then they can also help other people. The other factor that I haven't heard many guys talk about is the single mom. All right, so we all want to respect the single mom because she's, she left a situation or she didn't want to get into one, but she's going to take her kids with her and do the best she can. That's that mommy instinct coming in, and she's doing the right thing. Well, there's a lot of different levels of this, and from one end all the way, let's say, to the right and left, not to be political about it, but just be descriptive, from one all the way to the right, she might be that ultra conservative pro-lifer that got away from a bad situation or just didn't want to go through abortion, the Christian, the Republican, whatever, and probably has some prepper knowledge there. That seems to be a trait just on the right anyway. And then and disciplined kids. And then all the way over to the other side, you're going to have the woke single mom that knows that she's not going to survive with her woke circle, or the, if she's towing a soy boy, with camel toe, along beside her. And this, sorry, and in the interest of things happening today, I'm like, this is kind of a train wreck, but everybody deserves a chance, so I want to say that. These can be the people, and I've seen it after hurricanes and tornadoes. They didn't want to prepare because they look like a prepper. They look too much like they're going along with the right, and at the last minute, it's like, oh fuck, the oh fuck factor sets in. Oh fuck, this is really happening. Oh fuck, it's happening to me. Oh fuck, I'm not prepared and don't know what to do. And of course, the kids suffer with that. And the kids are always the innocent party in all kinds of situations. But then you have this one thing, the mom can be that interference factor that's going to accept help conditionally, or only wants to participate in the preparation or the movement to a different location, to gathering food, to creating shelters and things like that, conditionally. The disaster relief of any type is not a democracy or a democratic situation. It's usually a military style dictatorship. There has to be some kind of rule of law in there of, like, this is what we need and this is what we need to do. If you don't want to participate in that, go find another group, period. Because the more arguments and input that you get, it just doesn't work. And if you have, unfortunately, the single mom with kids that won't listen, or totally undisciplined or unruly or even destructive, this becomes a liability for the entire survival operation. And that's just something you have to think about. And remember after Hurricane Andrew, that was our first Category 5 hurricane in Florida. And I was a relief pilot, and I was doing all kinds of things down in the Homestead area, relief, as well as Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And this is one problem that we dealt with a lot. They wanted to be just handed things, where other people made their kids work, do the things that they needed to be done. And kids will toughen up pretty quick. But the ones that didn't, were down mad because they're kind of left at the end of the soup line, so to speak. Now, I don't mean, I've had a lot of single mom girlfriends over the years, and things like, so there's definitely no attack on this by any means. If anything, but it is like any survival situation, especially after disasters of all kinds. You have to come at it with that survival mentality. And the single moms that kind of, militarize their homes, and one girlfriend came to us, she had two huge boys, that were a foot taller than me, outweighed me by 100 pounds, and they would confront me all the time. And there was a few times push came to shove, but she'd walk in the door and all of a sudden it's like, yes, mom, yes, ma'am, I'm like, she wasn't a huge woman, but she could become the monster disciplinaire, and they'd rather just not deal with that, And you look at that especially when it comes to boys, that's how you do it. And she had order. And so when she needed things done after the hurricane would hit, it got done. And because they were like that, they had other boys that were like that as their friends. And the neighborhood snapped together quick. And it was the women that were running that show. And that was a really interesting thing to see, how all the mama bears got together and ruled with an iron fist and a velvet glove. And so that's when it can really work. So guys, I'm just going to tell you that when your wife and girlfriend or daughter, they want to bring all their other female friends in for protection, for help, for all that, that's when you have to be that one that kind of lays down the law about these things. And the single mom factor is that, because right now I get a lot of them that are writing me about what to do, and I give them some things to do. Here's how you should prepare. And they're tight on money. Of course they are, so I have friends that would like to donate to things. I can say, here, check this girl out. She's trying to prepare for whatever, when she has kids. And it's different too, because they could have the babies, they could have the toddlers, they could have the grade schoolers, they could have the preteens and teens, and all that comes, and a mixture of all that. And all that comes with different mentalities that she has to work with. And of course, being good moms, they're going to be compassionate and loving and try to be understanding and so on to the emotional needs of these children and these different personalities within her rule of that household. In the survival situation, there's really not much room for that, and they get shocked when they get told what to do, or, it's going to be this way or nothing, you want to eat, you want to work, period. That's how that works. And they just, they freak, and it can become even a more emotional thing for them because it's such a huge shock. But you have to move on. You have to always tend to the ones that are participating the most first. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's just so cold. Oh, that's just misogynistic bullshit or whatever. Like, no, that's getting by, Yeah, my dad was Air Force, and my mom was Army before I joined the Marine Corps, of course. And so my mom ruled the house, as a military woman. And there was order. It was cleanliness. There was healthy and so on. And we grew up that way. We grew up with room inspections and things like that, which is an awesome thing for boys to grow up with. Boys need structure, especially boys need structure. Children need structure. Structure is security. They know what's going to happen, because that's good to know every day. You get them in that pattern. People say, well, you're just training to be a work drone. Yeah, I think that's why the public school was invented, especially the way it's structured, with all the testing and so on. But at the same time, our ancestors, they had to utilize the strength and abilities of the children just to survive. Okay, and that's just a fact. Farms did it. The last couple of days here on this farm, the kids were busy carrying branches that fell when the last, ice storm came through. And we have to keep cracking the whip, like, what are you doing? It's all like discipline, consistency. It's a survival. It's a gift that you give these kids when you're doing it that way. Well, a lot of times the single moms just don't get that. They didn't have that growing up, and so they don't know what they should pass on to the kids. So if you find yourself in a situation, as I did one time, where I have 4 sets of this, and there was no other men around for a few days for me to work with this, and that was an issue to deal with. And finally, I was like, I'll just go do something. And a couple of the older boys came by like, can we help? Yes, absolutely. And then you start teaching, and they snap right in, you know. And when the moms usually see this, they see that, you know, yeah, your boy needs some instruction by a man to become a man. You're not qualified to do that. I have all daughters. I'm not qualified to bring up a daughter to be a good woman. Okay, I don't know anything about being a woman. Never claimed to. You know, and single dads, you know, have that. Their daughters grow up disciplined, strong, maybe not as feminine as mommy would have made, and so on. So single parents in general, you know. So I just wanted to pass that on because it's something that we will have to deal with here probably in the very near future. You know, with these wrecks, with the contamination of agricultural areas, supply chain interruptions, food shortages, and fuel shortages will be after that. You know, I haven't read the law for sure, but I'm hearing enough about it that toxic land can be seized by the government and people just moved and evacuated into these 15-minute cities, or what we had after Hurricane Andrew in Florida, FEMAville, where FEMA brought in a bunch of trailers, and that was just a disaster in Homestead, Florida. The mindlessness and incomplete thought of that. And there were a lot of single moms there that did not do very well, you know. So if you got any questions about things, leave something in the comment. If you like this, please go ahead and like and share, subscribe, and so on. I do have years and years of other videos of my other channel, Shamanic Lodge, but my subscribers were saying, hey, we're not getting any notices that you're posting, so it was shadow banned or whatever, so I started this one. And that's about it. You know, I wish you all the best. You know, with this, I don't have I hate to be a doom and gloom guy. I like to be always prepared. Now, if I come up with a problem, I like to come up with a solution, you know. But with the way that I'm seeing things now, I don't have a bright outlook for the future. Yes, and I think this year is when a lot of the shit will hit the fan. I mean, it already is in my mind. Some of my worst suspicions and fear are starting to look like they may come true. You know, too many people crossed the border illegally. Too many people were on the terror watch list that got away. And we're seeing too many things that we could be classifying as domestic terrorism. And more keep coming from the Middle East, from places where our military-industrial complex had destroyed lives and cultures. Okay. So in that, we have to keep our American spirit of teamwork and survival. We have to keep it cold and clean in our approach and methodology on how we're going to do things. We have to be the Great Reset people. Okay, we have to do that, and we have to do it that also with our iron fist and a velvet glove, and we have to keep our eyes to the horizon as we're doing, and not be distracted by things within our immediate vision and immediate environment. Well, we'll see it all. Be strong, be aware. Catch you guys later.